Okay, let's go.
Hello there, Sister Wives watchers and chick chatters. We're back with Sister Wives episode 4. We're going to do things a little differently today. So it might look a little funky to you guys. We're kind of playing with different ways to present images and stuff like that because the editing process is quite long for me. So we're just trying to kind of play with some other things. We're also working on our audio right now. For me, it's very echoey because I'm in a very empty room. I was supposed to move out of this house and go up to Michigan because my husband was going to deploy. And now he's not really deploying or whatever. That's just the easiest way for me to explain it to you. So now we are staying. It's a long story. I won't bore you with the details. So I'm in an empty room right now, and Brooke's been having issues with her audio.
Yes, I got a new laptop. It's not really meshing with my old mic, so I'm using my laptop mic, and both still trying to figure out if that mic is also off or what's going on. So just have some patience with us. We are aware that things might look and sound and maybe feel a little different when you're watching, but we are working on it. We appreciate feedback as long as it's kind too. So thank you for your patience. We'll get it all figured out, but definitely give us some feedback on how you feel about what we're going to do with the pictures this time. Let us know how you feel about your viewing pleasure of that.
We're trying to evolve a little bit. As the channel normally does, it evolves. Actually, I'm actually working on a new intro and everything too. So Chick Chat might be getting a little bit of a makeover.
Not too much though.
No, we're still here. We still look the same.
Still gonna be us.
We're actually doing this to be able to push out more content faster for you guys. We can push these out faster.
Upload faster once we record too.
Pretty much. So hopefully this is a good change, but let's just get right into it. So we start off in Robyn's ex-sister wife's daughter's closet, and she is explaining why she spent the night in the closet. Now, this is good information because I really thought she was in this tiny closet and she was just sitting upright or something. But Mykelti does have a decent sized walk-in closet, and they put this little mattress on the bottom. I kind of think the whole situation's a little bit cute. I'm not mad at Robyn.
You did kind of look like a dog bed to me, but
It did.
That's all I'm going to comment about that part of that. I thought the moment was as wholesome as it could be. And Mykelti made all of that happen. I say to people who have family conflict a lot and want to be the peacemakers, but can't make people be nice to each other, as long as you can provide opportunities for people to be together and have a nice time together, that's never going to harm anyone, and things will tend to move more quickly than nobody ever seeing each other. So I think that's what Mykelti is attempting to do right now. I know that eventually, based off of what's happening in real time, I don't think Mykelti is talking to Kody and Robyn right now.
I don't think so.
But I can appreciate her attempt. She seems to be one of the only kids that's really trying to create those opportunities for people to be together in a loving way. So I think that that's really kind of nice.
We get to see Mykelti and Tony and their bebes. And they are cute babies. I mean, you couldn't see one of their faces. But I will say this did stress me out to see them holding them like this for a minute. But my sister had twins, and they do like to be on top of each other. So It's not really that weird. It's just weird to see somebody holding them that way. But I'm fine with it.
And they probably do prefer to be a little bit snuggled up.
Yeah, they do. I know my twin nieces would sleep literally on top of each other and stuff like that. So they do like to be close, especially because they just came out of the womb. So that's how they were in there, more than likely. It's funny because they keep saying, well, they're fraternal twins and they don't look alike. I'm like, they look the same right now to me.
They do. They both look like little babies.
Once they get bigger, yeah, but they look very similar to me. But maybe it's because they don't show them very close up. But I don't know. So Robyn and Christine, it was kind of interesting to see them interact because there was many moments where Christine was like fake laughing and stuff, like, oh, ha, ha, and then she face was all serious.
She definitely was. So I'm glad that you picked up on that too. And it was so funny how the camera crew showed that, because she would just like kind of snicker and try to make eye contact. And then it was like, she looked miserable. But you know what? She did her very best.
Robyn is here to be here for Mykelti. So I think that was a nice moment, even if Christine was kind of her head about it. But yeah, I mean, Christine tried. I think she thought Robyn was going to sleep a little longer. But Robyn must have heard her up, because Robyn was originally sleeping when Christine got there. She's like, oh, I want to go in.
Robyn looks like she could have slept for another hour in this. It looks like she kind of pushed herself to get up and there. I'm not going to lie.
I can't, like, Christine, I love her dramatic ass. And they were talking about Robyn sleeping in the closet and she didn't get any sleep. She's like, she wouldn't want it.
true.
I was like, I love your dramatic ass.
She is really quite a drama queen.
And they told her about Avalon and how she realized that her mom has a baby, her dad has a baby, and no one's holding her. Christine was just like, oh my God, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
I know. And that was really kind of sad. I know we talked about this a little bit last episode, but transitions are hard for every family. And it's strange to me that some of the wives were not really picking up on how this is obviously a transition. Sure, for their family, it was easy for kids to come into the family. But for most families, a transition is difficult. And this is the only transition that's going to happen.
But she's done, I think, having kids. So at least that's
Yeah.
what she says. So
Yeah.
we'll see on that. But
Mhm.
yeah. And honestly, her kids really are cute. Avalon is adorable. But it was funny that Christine was like, Avalon was our whole world, and she knew it. Love this.
Well, that's because Christine is the most dramatic woman in the best way.
I love to hear her tell stories. I wish she was like one of those people that narrate books, audio speaker. I think she'd be so good at that. Like, if there is a job for that, that woman needs to do that.
Yeah. Her voice is great. So it sounds like Robyn's going to leave shortly before Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is coming up soon based on the conversation that's happening. And I don't know, when we saw Robyn about to leave, the sun on this woman's face, she just looked so refreshed. Which is that not bizarre after being with the twins in a closet?
Cody's stressing her out, I'm sure. So anything is refreshing when you leave the Flagstaff.
That's what I'm feeling. If you look this good, and I know the sun was shining on her, but if you look this good after sleeping in a closet with twin newborn babies
for days,
that should tell you about the state of your home. She looks happy. The wrinkles are almost even gone.
The grays are coming in. Those look like recent grays. Like she's been stressed out at her house.
Oh, she's been stressed out beyond repair.
But she is struggling with leaving. I think a lot of it too is because she actually got to be around Christine, and it was kind of nice to feel part of the actual family again and not just in her little unit. Because I do think Robyn does struggle with that. I think that she's been living in her own little la la land for a while that she didn't really recognize. I mean, I think she knew that this man was at her house all the time. She playing ignorant on some things, but I do think that she's struggling with the fact she's not invited to nothing no more. She can't escape this man at all. Everyone's so spread out now.
Well, and the only time she could even really have an excuse to escape Kody is when someone's babies are born, because it's kind of a maternal situation. So I can see where that is probably her only way to get out.
I think she had a great experience. Christine was kind of like, okay, this girl can leave. But she did pass her baton to Christine and left.
That's not a baton. Stop it. Stop it.
She wanted to be back in time for Thanksgiving because this year she's just doing Thanksgiving with just Kody and her kids. No Mary for the first time ever. I did feel bad when Mary said that this is the first time in over 30 years that she has not spent Thanksgiving with Kody.
And look at this was kind of sad too. They showed everyone's Thanksgiving and
no Mary.
I mean, Mary's in Flagstaff. See this?
Yeah.
See how they peep in the windows? Where's Mary?
There's no Mary. I do feel bad for her. And then Robyn's like, well, Mary said she was going to spend Thanksgiving with her kids. That's a lie. She has one child who, yes, is married or whatever. But, you know, and I actually do wonder why she didn't go spend Thanksgiving with Leon. I'm guessing that Leon probably spends more time with their partner's family. So
where does Leon live?
I don't know what Leon be doing. I haven't seen much about Leon since Garrison's passing because Leon did post for Garrison's passing. But if you chick chatters know what's going on with Mary and Leon or whatever, let us know. I know they had a rough relationship when the catfishing thing was going on, and I know that was really hard to recover from. So I don't know if it's still like that, but I just feel for Mary. She wanted so many kids, and then she did polygamy to have all these extra kids, and now none of them want anything to really do with her. For the most part, I know that she might have been kind of crappy, but something happened back in the day. But
yeah, well, and I'm confused because Mary did say she was going to go to California, so that's why I'm wondering if Leon's in California.
Must be. I wouldn't be surprised. Leon probably is in California. I feel like those states are a lot easier to live in than probably like Flagstaff. So they are doing their Thanksgiving. There's no Rice Krispie turkey this year.
Yeah, because there's no Mary this year. She's just disappeared into her house.
No awkward turkey conversation about how he liked my turkey and now he likes Robyn's turkey. Girl.
Mary's just here cleaning the house, cleaning the driveway.
And then Kody has the nerve to say in confessional that he could not be his authentic self with Robyn, couldn't touch up on Robyn and be affectionate with her when Mary's around. And it's like, you have this woman 24/7. I think you can go a couple hours without her being up on you just so Mary can spend Thanksgiving not alone.
As far as to blame it on Robyn. This is the way that you all have had your sacred covenant together for so long, was that you all agreed to sort of be sensitive to each other. And Mary and Robyn were the last ones standing. So of course, Robyn is going to want to be sensitive to Mary, even though the sacred covenants don't exist anymore. And the only thing that exists is this real marriage between Robyn and Kody. It's still weird. Just like Mary said, and I know she was trying to kind of be funny a little bit, but she said there's something somewhere that says when a man and wife are divorced that they don't get together anymore. And I think that that includes Thanksgiving. And that's true. You just don't, especially in the situation. I was going to say especially with his ex-wife, but I think there are some situations that that could be acceptable. And maybe in a couple years this will be too, but just not right now. Okay? Not right now.
Everybody is really scattered. You got one of Christine's kids at Janelle's, and you got everybody at Christine's. It's nice to see, though, that they can kind of mix and match, but yeah, the holidays will just never be the same. And Kody and Robyn are sitting there feeling it like, it's so empty here, but at the same time, I'm so safe because it's empty.
I know. I just had to do this because this is when Kody said he felt safe.
I mean, Solomon's terrified. I don't know how safe Kody can feel, but Solomon looks completely terrified.
Poor kid.
People act like they don't got money. Look at their china.
Just look at all the crap in the background. And I'm talking about crap, you know.
Oh, yeah. Actually, chick chatters, guess what? Robyn and Kody are not selling their house anymore. And I guess it might be because
they can't.
Because they can't. Technically, because Kody has this child support case going on with Truly, he's not really supposed to be selling off any assets or anything right now until all that kind of goes through. Seems like they can't put their house up for sale until after this custody stuff is figured out. He's got to do a paternity test because obviously back in the day, they weren't putting Kody on any of these birth certificates because polygamy was illegal. So they're still in that house. They've had quite a few Thanksgivings there now.
Yeah, they definitely have. Kody goes on his whole tangent about respect within his family with Robyn, that they're all in this perpetual happy family experience, safety, state of respect. It's all this floofy words. And then he brings up what I think might be an insight. I think he's trying to relate to his sister wives in the past, where he says, right now it feels safe. And 10 years ago, I was safe for everybody, but they weren't all safe for each other. And so he's trying to kind of relate to what it feels like to be in the dysfunction of a family where people do not feel safe around each other. And he doesn't want to be around his kids. And he's been wondering for decades why some of his wives don't want to hang out with each other. It's like, I guess he finally gets it a little bit, but it's a little too late. And he's still not doing anything to bring his family together. I understand the wives are gone, but again, with the kids thing, which will all come to kind of a head later on in this episode, but I just don't get why, if he's developing these insights, why he's not spending more time trying to just get his family back in order.
Because everything he does is at a snail's pace. What did he say to Robyn later on? Oh, I'm going to take this year and try to figure out my feelings. A year? You need a year to figure out your feelings? I've seen people get over divorces in months. What do you mean years?
Well, he had said he'd already been angry like this for a year. I don't know how much longer you need. You certainly don't need another year, Kody, to let this go on. By the time that happens, you could have 3, 4, or 5 more grandkids. Who knows? Logan just got married.
I don't even know what this man does for a living, where you don't have time to work out these feelings. You don't have time. You had time after you dropped the kids off to have like a 4-hour conversation. I'm sure that was spliced up into a few minutes. How don't you have time to work through these feelings and all this stuff?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Nothing but time.
None. That does kind of get us into the Kody and Robyn argument. Apparently, Kody and Robyn got into an argument before the cameras showed up, and then Kody went for a little drive, and he came back, and they're just meeting for the first time outside. So we get a little bit of insight actually into Robyn in this scene, which was really the only interesting thing to me. I'm happy to see Robyn standing up for the whole family situation, but it's hard for me really to believe based on the actions and everything that have happened over the last 10 years with her. But we do get some insight as to why it's so hard for her to deal with all of this and to see this. And I do believe that. I mean, she looked legitimately sad. I actually felt kind of bad for her watching this, but I didn't know this, but we learned that her dad was almost a copy and paste of Kody right now. Not all throughout childhood, not the stuff we saw in seasons 1 through 10 or whatever, but Kody right now is somebody who's very absent, who's not trying, who will give any and every excuse in the book, including some BS about not loving the kids' mothers enough. Just, are you kidding? That's what you're going to decide is the problem? You think that they're mad at you for that?
And he said when they were calling him with all this stuff, and he's like, I just didn't love your mothers. You don't have to say that, for one. You're just invalidating their whole existence by saying that. Oh, what, you're mad at me because I never loved your mother? It's like,
how could you?
Your parents are divorced. What if your dad was saying this stuff to you? Or
my parents still love each other. That's what they tell me. And my mom is married. They talk often about how cool they think it is that they made me because I'm so cool. Like, that is the healthiest I think that it could be. That's not everyone's normal experience, but that can be a normal thing, to just be grateful for your memories and your experiences and move on with your life and make more happy memories and experiences. It's not impossible to do.
I know that not all divorces are whatever, but I just can't help but feel like to go around and tell your kids that you never loved their mother and the world that you never loved these people. He was upset that these people are mad at him because he didn't love their mothers. And I'm like, that's not what's going on here. What? You're just letting things get so tangled in your own head. Why don't you just have a sit down with a few of these kids or whatever? Like, I'll need a real therapy session.
That's what I've been saying, because I do think Kody is getting really close to some of these important insights, but he's not getting close enough for him to take accountability. He just takes a left every time and blames people for all of this stuff. So I don't know. I think he would do well with the right therapist, but I don't think he would ever even acknowledge that he might have a role in his issues.
Of course not. Narcissists usually don't. I feel like he's definitely on the path of narcissism, but I'm not a doctor.
Well, it also makes me sad too, because in the first part of this conversation, he also talks and acknowledges the relationship between him and Maddie. And every time Robyn is trying to ask him, will you please just call your kids? Will you please just tell them that you're there for them and this and that? He brings up another child. Well, Garrison told me this. Well, Maddie told me this. Well, Peyton won't even answer my phone call. Yes, they're all angry with you. And he gets so offended that Madison has made the choice not to have her kids involved in this whole situation, which that's her right to do.
I think he is hurt by whatever happened at this wedding too. I think he probably tried to go up to the grandkids and she must have grabbed them real quick and was like, absolutely not. And then she's pregnant on top of that. So I'm sure he is hurt. And I can empathize with that. Feeling like you're being extradited from your family. And the thing is yes, their marriages didn't work out, but there isn't really a reason why Kody should be ostracized from his kids. He should be ostracized from his wives. Sure, maybe he doesn't have any type of relationship with them. But you have like 12, 18, 17 kids. You have so many kids that you can contact. And you made these kids. What did he say earlier? He said, well, it's hard to be there. It's unrealistic of a grandparent to be in their grandkids' lives all the time, especially when they move to a different coast. Y'all didn't think this through then, because y'all had a million kids. Of course, they're all going to move in different directions.
It's about the relationship. You can maintain a relationship anywhere it is if you can take accountability when you're wrong, if you can check in on people, you can show that you care. It's not about the distance. That's the thing, is he's so quick to blame everybody, every other thing in the world other than I have failed to maintain a relationship. And when my children are mad at me, I have failed to either take accountability or apologize or explain to them my side of the story. Robyn is right in a lot of this conversation. There are two sides to every story, and Kody is so unwilling to listen to his own children's side of the story of the family that he created, the family he's responsible for. He is responsible for a lot of this. There's no way around that. And instead, he just sits there and screams about being betrayed and ran. It's sad. It's really sad to see Kody.
He's like, did I do anything wrong? Other than not loving their mothers. It's like, well, that's a pretty big thing. You can't really just gloss over that.
It is.
Even if you don't think you did anything wrong, it doesn't hurt to apologize for things just because they made other people upset. When it comes to my parents, me and my parents will get into it sometimes. And the thing that I always appreciate about my dad is that he will almost always try to come around and apologize, even if he doesn't even think he's wrong. I live across the country from my parents, so they do have to call me sometimes or make an effort with that because I'm so far away. And my sister lives in a house with them, and she has her kids there, and they take care of her kids. So when I have kids, my parents are going to be farther away. But guess what? They talk to me about, oh, well, when you're pregnant and have a kid, we're going to have it set up so we can come out there. They're going to come through. You have no reason to not go visit these people if you are nurturing a relationship with them. Go across country. You don't really work, I don't think. You have money for artwork. You can buy a plane ticket.
Right. And Robyn is too. I'm having a hard time even blaming Robyn at this point. I know that Kody likes to sometimes use her as a weird scapegoat. He even did that in this conversation. He had brought up, I'm not going to sit here and defend you because they're angry with you. They're really angry with you, Kody. You're just using Robyn as a scapegoat because you're hiding inside of her house all the time. So what do you think they're going to think if you provide no explanation through communication?
Well, that would be a bad experience for Kody. He don't want a bad experience. He wants a family experience.
He wants a family experience. And the thing is he doesn't want a family experience, and he doesn't want to try with these kids. And that is what I think Robyn is seeing right here. And she's telling him she's going to have a hard time respecting him very soon. Now, eventually in this conversation, I don't think we need to hold off or anything, but he does ask her to give him a couple more months, which is insane. But I guess maybe he's opening his eyes right now to the fact that he's not going to have a marriage anymore if he can't keep some of his other family intact. Robyn has said, I don't know how deeply I believe that, but she has said that she wants a big family.
And then she says, I'm starting to lose respect for you. And he goes, get in line. I about died. I'm not going to lie. That shit took me out.
I know. I know.
I could laugh.
I know. It was so funny. Robyn. And then somewhere in between this whole argument, I feel like the producers did this on purpose, but they just had to pop Christine in here and be like, so I went on a date with this guy. And he's a man.
He's a man with beautiful eyes.
Just beautiful eyes. Look at those eyes.
I wonder if that's from their first date.
That's at least the way they were trying to pass it off.
Yeah.
It looks like a first date outfit.
They matched, kind of. I think the whole thing's cute. Christine's always over the top. She's like, so I'm going to let you know, I'm going all in on this next date. She's like, have you already planned your second date? And I'm going to tell him about polygamy. Now we know in retrospect he did know, but girl, you don't think he could Google you real quick to try to figure out who he's going on a date with? He said he had 8 kids, and then I had to say I had 6 kids, and I just felt inadequate. And it's like, girl, you have more than 6 kids. You have like 18 kids, basically. Like,
at least 12 kids. That
you can add them all on. I mean, you could try to outdo him and be like, well, I have like 18 kids.
Janelle pops into and she says she's not interested in dating, as she said a million times.
And she's raking her yard. Whenever Janelle talks about wanting to date, they love to show Janelle doing yard work or doing strong woman shit.
Totally. So, as she's talking about being independent and I don't have to answer to anybody. I can go wherever I want. Rake my yard any day.
And then Kody had the audacity to say he didn't say he never loved her. Yes, you did. You said you never loved any of them.
He's screaming that in the conversation that we're about to get back to right here. And in a confessional right around this time, he does end up acknowledging a slight bit of accountability where he made 2 errors. And those 2 errors happened during COVID. One where he had all of these rules and threatened to kick out Janelle's boys and did kick out Janelle's boys and still didn't go to Janelle's house. So that created a big problem. And then when he didn't go to Isabel's surgery, she has scoliosis. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Where the curvature of the spine. So that happened back during COVID as well. And there was some big to-do. Kody even called it a vacation at the time. It was actually awful. Now that I'm thinking about it, even just hearing him talk about it in the confessional, it doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of what he actually did during that time, because he just says, well, I didn't go to her surgery and it caused a big stir in the family and people had opinions about it. But you called it a vacation and you complained to Christine about even going when they have been preparing for the surgery for season after season before this happened.
Well, I don't even think he wanted the surgery to happen and stuff too. I think he was trying to drag it out longer or whatever. And Christine was like, absolutely not. Then I think part of why he feels that way or whatever is because that's when Christine decided to leave the family. She was like, yeah, no, this was my last straw, was the surgery. So I'm wondering if now that means he regrets Christine leaving, because that's what happened. But yeah, he didn't go to her surgery. Isabel's funny to me. When she was at the Thanksgiving, they said, oh, it's the baby's 1-week birthday. And she's like, oh, happy birthday, babies.
I know. And she told Mykelti, you birthed the cutest babies at the beginning of the episode.
So in this conversation, Kody and Robyn are still going back and forth. Robyn just wants him to pick up a damn phone and call some kids. That's all. And he only picks out 3. He's like, well, I've done that. And then he only names like 3 times.
He's focusing on all the kids that are angry with him. Why don't you focus on even the kids that have neutral relationships? The ones that maybe don't call you, but they'll pick up the phone and maybe entertain a conversation. Why don't you start with that instead of sitting here and going back and forth with Robyn about all of my kids hate me? Well, guess what? All 18 of your kids do not hate you. So you're going to have to figure out some kind of relationship if you want to be with Robyn. It sounds like that's what she's telling him. Not in a point blank way, but she's losing respect for him. She's starting to see Kody as her dad, which she also said one of the main reasons that she fell in love with Kody was how much of an active dad he was. And he was an active dad in those earlier seasons when Robyn first joined the family. Maybe not a great husband, but he was the best dad I think he could have possibly been for all those kids.
Because at the time, the love of his life was his kids and not Robyn.
Yeah.
Because like he said to her, I'm sitting here with the love of my life, the person I love the most. And I'm like, you should love your kids the most.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you should love your wife. I mean, you should definitely love her, but you should have this love for Robyn. You should have that for your children as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's quite telling. Talking about, well, Madison took these kids away. And it's like, but Madison also at one point moved to be closer to you.
Yeah. She did. She lived there. And that was the best moments of your life and all of that. So
and then you moved. Away from her.
That's the thing. Robyn is pretty repetitive throughout this whole conversation. Just if you need to do this or you need to do that or camp on your kid's doorstep, she's trying to remind him she wants a family dynamic more than if they're going to be in this monogamy, then he needs to have other family around. She's not just going to sit around and let him ignore all her kids and be happy with that. At least that's what she's saying. And I can't blame her. I hope that's the truth.
Yeah, I can appreciate this whole conversation. I don't know if this conversation has been had before, but I do think it's nice that she is having this conversation on camera because she gets a lot of crap for not doing anything or not saying anything. It's like, you live with this man, why don't you say anything to him? But, as you can see, Kody don't really respond well. He just wants to live in that bubble.
He does. And he doesn't want anyone in his bubble to say, can we have other people in this bubble? He just wants the bubble all to himself.
I just think he could really benefit from I know he's got 1 million kids, so just put them all in one little group chat and be like, listen, I just want to say I'm sorry for how everything's been playing out. I really hope to build relationships with you in the future. My door is always open. I will try to reach out to all of you, but I just want to make sure you all know that I am here and accessible to you, and I really do want to work on things. There's so many ways to go about it, and it just really stems from trying. And if these kids want to cut you up, just let them do that. They might come back around, but you have to try and you have to seem genuine. You have to be genuine in trying. You can't just do whatever you've been doing because it just feels very backhanded.
So Robyn is trying to shake some promises out of Kody by the end of this conversation, as I think we all really are. I mean, we're both pretty frustrated with Kody's back and forth. All she's trying to do is present the message that you need to continue to try. You need to show your kids that you're willing, because the whole reason he feels so betrayed and this and that is because there's no relationship there. So if you show your kids you want to have a relationship, that could be the first step in maybe having a relationship. So Robyn's trying to shake the promises out of him, and Kody can't even commit to a promise. He says he'll promise a little bit.
I'll do it a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. So I texted Gabriel.
Texted him. I was out in the mountains. It was beautiful. I texted him. No response as of yet.
And why did you only text Gabriel? I mean, at the time there's Garrison. There's so many other kids. It seems like he's only caring about working on his relationship with Janelle's kids. What about all Christine's kids other than Mykelti? Like, do you talk to Peyton? Do you talk to...
Peyton won't talk to him. I've heard a lot of things that Peyton has said about him. I think Peyton is one of the ones that responds with contempt.
This whole episode was in contempt.
But it's sad because Kody does say he's going to promise a little bit, and then he's in this confessional saying this. I'm not going to call if people aren't going to respond, and I'm not going to camp out on anyone's doorstep. And adult relationships with children are not reciprocal relationships. Shut up, Kody. Yes, they are. Especially if your kids feel betrayed by you and you have a record to correct. There is a record to correct here. There is 2 sides to the story. Now, if he's going to keep coming in with the whole, my only problem is I didn't love your mother, then he's not ready to have the conversation. And that was part of his argument, I suppose, to Robyn, that he didn't want to trigger while he was having these conversations because he would make it worse. And I agree with that. But it's been a year. And now you've asked Robyn for several more months before she starts to lose all respect for you. So where are we going with this? Because as of 2024, your house was just on the market and people don't really know what's going on with you. And then you had to take your house off the market because your other wife is suing you. And I've also heard that if Janelle tries to take legal action against this house, that could put Kody in risk for mortgage fraud because the mortgage of the house doesn't list any other lien holders, anyone else who would have rights to this property. I don't know a whole lot about that, but it does make a little bit of sense. So I don't know.
Sounds like a whole mess. He said in this episode something like it would take almost a lot for him to change. He said he would have to have a whole change of heart. He lost a child, and it seems like his heart hasn't changed.
Yeah.
That's quite...
I wonder if the confessionals or whatever they are were recorded before or after, but
I hope it was before, but yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see if this does affect him at all, because I think that would put the nail in the coffin for narcissism.
The thing is we see in 2024 he's still not hanging out with his kids.
Sure, but you don't see phone calls televised or anything like that. If he is trying to reach out, that might not be a thing that we have access to seeing for quite a while. But gosh, the way the editing goes in 3 years talking about all of this death and everything. I think if we see him trying to blame anyone else, and I'm not saying this is all his fault, but if we see him not taking accountability, that definitely puts the nail in the coffin for narcissism. He has to take accountability for that.
Yeah. He even lost his relationship with Mykelti by this point. So it seems like he's lost all of these relationships. And he indirectly responded to this whole episode bashing her.
Yep.
She posted a meme or whatever, like a quote. And it says, "A piece of advice, never refriend or refamily a person who has tried to destroy your character, your integrity, and your relationships with others. A snake only sheds its skin to be a bigger snake. If others fall victim and walk away from you because of that, let them. Sooner or later, the snake will bite them too."
Mm-hmm. And that exactly describes what's happened with Mykelti as well, because we see the relationship with Mykelti still being close with Kody and Robyn. And we know now in present time that it's not, because something has happened. And there's rumors that something happened at Garrison's funeral, but that exactly describes it. You don't need to refriend them in order to be with other people. Those other people will learn for themselves what it's like, and then everything can be in harmony.
It's just sad because she's got to say that about her own dad. It's not like Kody has always been an absent father and a bad father. Just all of a sudden, these last few years, he's just...
Well, that's why his kids are so angry. That's why I just don't understand it. He has this idea that I think is wrong in his head, that once his kids are adults, that they don't have any emotional need to have a connection to their father, to feel like their father values them and is proud of them and wants to be involved with them. It's really sad. And so, of course, they are angry with him because he was such an involved dad. They had all these ideas about their dad being involved in their life, and then they got completely abandoned and betrayed. And then you have this idiot over here talking about how abandoned and betrayed he feels by his wives, not his kids, and taking it out on his kids and his only wife left.
Yeah. Which he had to half apologize for, and she was like, "I'm so sorry,
And he was so relieved to hear Kody give an F about their relationship for a second.
I mean, even the one you got left was barely holding on. I was thinking if something happened with Robyn, or something ever happened to Robyn, which I hope not, but if Robyn for some reason wasn't here anymore, would he try to redate Mary or any of them other people, or would he go out in the world and try to date somebody?
I think he'd go for Janelle.
I'm sure he'd go for Janelle.
Maybe that's why he's trying so hard with Janelle's kids. I think he still, in this moment in time, and maybe even right now, thinks that he can reconcile, which is horrid because of the price that Janelle's family, her unit of family, has paid because of how terrible Kody is.
And on top of that, you ignored her and avoided her for months upon years.
What are you playing with her money right now? You play with someone's money, it's hard to forgive you after that. It's hard to trust you after that. All of this is terrible. You've emotionally betrayed her. You financially betrayed her. All of this. But I think he does think he would have a shot with Janelle. And the crazy thing is Janelle's the only one who doesn't want to go through with the whole spiritual divorce. So I guess I could see where he thinks he's going to be bound to her for eternity. Might as well try to get into harmony so they can get into the celestial kingdom. Whatever.
Imagine getting up there and then she's up there with just Kody and Robyn. Oof.
Well, you have to have 3. So he'd have to have another one.
Well, I guess Mary's going to go through with the spiritual divorce, so she might be up there with David.
She would. Little David in her pocket or something.
Yeah. Then she'd be like, "Oh no.
No. This isn't what I chose. No.
No.
I don't believe in this. No.
Oh man, this poor family, this horrible situation.
So I do have a little next time, which also is sad. I mean, talk about this poor family. We find Robyn sobbing in a bathroom somewhere, or a closet, or somewhere.
She loves closets.
She loves closets now. She just reminds her of the babies. So she's talking about the only thing that keeps her head up or her head above water anymore is prayer. We got some anger coming towards Robyn from Janelle's kids, so I wonder if that's what caused this whole emotional spiral. But Robyn's pretty emotional. We have David and Christine's second date. I mean, we all know how this is going to go, so it's kind of cute to see it play out, but it's just weird to have this time travel thing.
Yeah.
And Kody says that his prayer is to save him and Robyn in this preview.
Well,
So
then work on it. She's your only one left. You're living in her house.
the thing that upsets me is, what did we just watch the last half hour of her trying to beg him to focus on his family, if now the very next episode we're going to hear him say he's going to focus on Robyn, and Robyn doesn't want to be involved with him if he's not focused on his family. It's just, nothing is working.
Yeah, make it all make sense. If he were to focus on the kids and actually mend some relationships there, I bet Robyn would be over the moon.
She would. She'd be back to that, like, let me make your life easy and make it easy here. Nobody wants to make it easy for a deadbeat dad. It's just against being a woman.
Yeah, especially a normal woman, actually, because there are some exceptions to everything.
Always.
But I did kind of feel bad a little bit for Robyn in this episode. But I do also feel like it took you how long to even realize that there were issues. I feel like this could have been a conversation that was had like a year prior even, but
Yeah, or 6 months ago.
it's a mess, but
It is a mess. I still have yet to feel like there's a cohesive storyline going anywhere other than the Civil War, the family's in shambles, but it feels like it's just bouncing in all different directions saying the same thing.
well, and I think this is the 4th episode now, and this is the first episode we had actual scenes to watch.
We had one scene. Oh wait, we had Robyn and Christine together.
But it's mostly still voiceover with
Mhm.
flashbacks and other stuff.
Pictures and talkovers, but I'm still here for it. I don't know why. You got me on the Sister Wives train last year. Actually, it's probably my Sister Wives anniversary
Probably is.
because I made the first couple Sister Wives videos, and I was like,
Yeah.
can't let her be alone.
Well, I had to talk about it because this was when things were getting real spicy and
Well, the divorces were just coming out and starting to
Mhm.
happen and all of that. So yeah, no, you drove us in the right direction as the founder of chat.
I had to find the thing to chat about.
I do love Sister Wives. I just wish they were a little more focused on how to present this story of this family this season.
Mhm.
It's not always like this.
Well, I hope next episode's a little bit more intriguing. I do think that this episode was definitely more intriguing than the last one, and the one
Mhm.
before that, and the one before that.
Yeah, it's feeling better. It's a slow simmer for me, though.
And I did realize too that a lot of the stuff in the trailers have already been hit on. So, and we're on episode 4, so there's a lot of stuff that they have not showed us.
Well, there's still so much time to jump to. Again, I know that Garrison's death is probably going to be at the very end, if not the very last thing, but there's still so much time to jump through. We are now in November of 2022 because Thanksgiving just happened. So we still have a year and a half to go through.
I know. I was looking at these kids like Ariella and Truly, because I remember seeing Truly at the wedding. She looked totally different. I'm like, oh, this is so old. They've already had a whole other Thanksgiving after this.
I know.
And they're about to have another one.
I know.
It's crazy, man. We're 4 episodes in, and I really thought that Robyn scene with the I'm losing respect. I thought that was gonna be more towards the end of the season. So I am pleasantly surprised by that. So I'm thinking there's a lot of stuff that they didn't show. And a lot of times trailers, they kind of show a lot of all throughout. So it's really, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the later episodes for sure. I think that there'll be a little more in there.
I'm hanging on.
We hanging on. We got to get through the holidays. The holidays with them are always repetitive. It's all about spending holidays separate and what are we doing with the holidays, and Mary, what are we doing about Mary?
I'll be happy to get through the damn holidays with the Browns, and then maybe I'll feel more entertained. Because you're right, it is always real repetitive. Even when they were all together, it was such a, what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna go?
Where do we put the caramel apples?
All right.
We're done now.
The caramel apples did it for me.
Thank you for joining us, Chick Chat. We'll catch you next week. And let
All
us
right.
know how you like our little viewing style.
Yeah, give us some feedback about that. And also don't forget to like the video, to subscribe to us, comment,
Pretend to share.
or share for real. Tell all your friends about us.
Yeah. We'll see you next time, Chick Chat.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.